Hello, everybody. Welcome. A very huge welcome on the 1st of November here in Greece. And as we always say at the beginning of a month here in Greece, we say Kalou Mina, have a good month. I don't think we really have the equivalent in England. So I always have a lot of fun when I'm going in and out of places saying Kalou Mina. We usually say Meia, with good health, parapano, above all. So Kalou Mina, Meia, parapano. Happy November, with good health to you all, above all. I'll just let a few of our beautiful soul family join. And I'd like to first of all say a huge thank you to Radhika, who's helping tremendously in the chat, binding us all together, which is wonderful. Thank you very much, dear Radhika. So let's tune in to the frequency and the vibrations of this month. And there are, when I look at this as an overall picture, we've got the first part of the month, which is one particular flavor and frequency. We've got a middle part, which is another, and the last couple of weeks, which is another complete different flavor. And if we can tune into these different frequencies collectively and individually, we can raise consciousness. It's like working with the energies, no matter how challenging they look, we can still work with them. Isn't it wonderful when somebody who's very grumpy, for example, and they've been grumpy every time you've seen them, and you've still been always cheerful with this person, you've always made an effort. And then one day, all of a sudden, this grumpy person beams a big smile at you. Isn't it just wonderful? It's like, wow, the sun came out. So even if we've got to persevere through some, shall we say, more difficult aspects, together, working as a team, we can help one another. So that's the purpose of this month's video, is to outline the main aspects and to see together, because this is always a co-creation when I'm live with you, how we can use these aspects in the most creative, positive, and uplifting way. So here goes. The month starts out with a lot of planets still in Scorpio, because of course it's Scorpio time until about the 21st, 22nd of November. And we've also got this total lunar eclipse in Taurus on the 8th of the month. So big, fixed energy, strong energies. And what I'm reminded of, because Saturn's very prevalent, we've got T-squares. I've mentioned a lot of the astrology in the Total Lunar Eclipse video that I've done already, so I don't want to repeat that to you. But Saturn is at the apex of a T-square between this Scorpio-Taurus energy and Saturn, which suggests that if you incorporate self-discipline and really work at something. So for example, let me just give you an example. When I was learning piano, I had to work really hard, many hours a day, scales and, etudes and all those things. And it was hard work and very intense and very focused. And that's the energy of this Scorpio Taurus fixed type of energy that we've got for this first couple of weeks of the month. And then as we move through the month, we get these trines with Jupiter to all the Scorpio planets, which opens the energy. And then we get Sagittarian energy for the last couple of weeks of the month, which opens us out into the light. So For example, as a musician, you do all this hard work, and then all of a sudden, after all these maybe weeks, months, years of work, you can suddenly play a Mozart concerto. You can suddenly play a violin concerto. You can suddenly play something that is magical and makes all that hard work worthwhile. So you might want to look in your life now. What area of my life would benefit from the focus of some dedication, some devotion? And even though it might be difficult and even a little tedious at times, it will be worth the effort. Maybe it's effort to put into a relationship. Maybe it is effort to put into a work area. Maybe it's something you need to study and learn and apply yourself. What is it in your life? Yeah, what is it? What is it that you know, if I could just discipline myself, if I could just apply myself with regularity and consistency in this life area that doesn't work as well as I'd like it to? Great. Denise says diet and exercise. Okay, great. So use these first 2 weeks of the month to set some parameters. Saturn in Aquarius, set some, if you like, rules for yourself, some boundaries for yourself, something that you will do. Stacey says not snacking in the evenings. Wonderful. So relationship and writing. Great, Lizzie. With a fixed energy, you might want to just choose one and start there. Yeah. But fix your sights on something and say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. So anything that you want to put your focus on. When I'm thinking of this energy, the Scorpio energy, it's like there are many temptations out there. The Taurus, this lunar eclipse in Taurus, it's like there are temptations, you know, like there's other videos that you might be lured into watching and just maybe wasting some of your precious time that you could put into something that might be truly beneficial for your growth and your well-being. Yeah. What might that be, so that you're not letting it slip away? Yeah. I'm just putting, what is it you really want to work on? Great. So Lena Lighting says getting rid of all negative energies. Been busy with that for a while and you made a big leap. Great. Woohoo! And do you know that when one of us makes a leap, you make it for all of us? We are all connected by these invisible, electricity. You can't see electricity. You can feel it for sure. Can't see it. All right, we can do that. Christopher's saying, stop spending your retirement money and spoiling women. Don't know. Nancy, eating less meat, drinking less alcohol. Yeah, you're a Taurus. Yeah, so there's all these temptations. And there are these tempting energies that will be around with this lunar eclipse. And can you be aware of them? And can you, as Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan? Yes, go away. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm not going to allow you to pull me into something that will be toxic for me. The Scorpio energy is about toxicity, releasing toxicity. I love you too, Andrea, our beautiful family here today. So what we do here together and what you do in your world and what you spread out makes a difference. Jojo Jacques says yours keep overspending on your home, sprucing up your home, typical Taurus. Yes, love it. Love it. Okay. Jeffrey, learning Hebrew finally. Okay. So this is this frequency, and you can begin to create during these couple of weeks of the month, these new healthy habits. Nature is helpful. anything to do with nature, connecting with Mother Nature. Okay, so that is, if you like, this first part of the month. Then we move into this real different frequency. And you've always got to get creative. So here's the different frequency. We then move into, out of the sort of darker, more intense frequency of Scorpio, we are moving into the more joyful, more fun, more love. I won't go much higher, don't worry. Fun, love, life energy of Sagittarius. It's fire. Okay, and it's mutable and it's changeable. So all that work that you put in, the light comes through. It's worth it eventually. It's worth it. Something comes through that is amazing, that comes out of that work. And what the energy of Sagittarius does, so we've got this intensity on the 8th of the month, which is the total lunar eclipse. And then as we go the 16th, 17th, 18th, Venus goes into Sag, Mercury goes into Sag. On the 21st, the Sun goes into Sag. So bit by bit by bit by bit, we come into this energy of expansion, of light at the end of the tunnel. So there's all this sort of tunnely energy, delving and digging and focusing. And then whoosh, here comes the light, here comes the sun. That's the type of energy we're working with. So here it changes. It's about opening up your horizons, opening yourself, and seeing that there, sometimes in the fixed energy, we get stuck. Yeah, we get stuck. It's all very well to be determined and everything, that's good, but sometimes you get into tunnel vision and you need to look further and wider. And I've been having that recently. I've been seeing somebody for various treatments for different things, and I've known her for a long time, but the last couple of times have been difficult and things haven't worked very well. Okay, and I got a real sense, whoa, yeah, I got this sense of like, you need to look somewhere else. You need to look at other options, widen your horizons. There's something else out there. Instead of trying to make something work, because that's the fixed energy, trying to make something work that really isn't. Okay, and that's, you've got to discern the difference where you've got to put some hard work in, or where you're just bashing your head against a brick wall. And you've got to open up to new horizons. Well, the minute that I saw that that was what I was doing, very belligerently, saying, well, I'll keep going, I thought, I'll look for something else. The same morning, something else came along that was better. So it can be as quick as that once you realize it. Okay, it's all to do with the realization of what's actually going on. So we're working as we move through the month with looking at ways in which you can broaden your perspective. Sagittarius rules travel. And you know that when you travel somewhere, you broaden your horizons. You learn that people maybe bow instead of shaking hands, or maybe they go namaste instead of shaking hands, or maybe some people hug you, or maybe some people rub noses with you. You get opened up to a whole new world. So this is about opening yourself up, that there's something better out there for you if you're meeting with constant obstacles. And no matter which way you turn, there's another obstacle coming. Then maybe it's time to look in a new direction and to see that you have options, right? You always have options. And that's the opening of the Sagittarian energy. So, and then on the 23rd, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius. And then as we move towards the end of the month, we're going to have an opposition with all the Sagittarian planets with Mars in Gemini. Mars retrograde in Gemini. Okay, so oppositions are, to me, easier to deal with than squares. Squares, you're looking this way, okay? You're having to look this way, to the side. And while you're looking that way, it's difficult to look straight on. But an opposition, you can look straight on and see something in opposing to you. So I think the opposing energy is easier to be more objective. Squares, I find, are more subjective energetically. Now, what date is the shift for Sagittarius, Kelly? Good question. Let me say it again. So the first 2 weeks till about the 16th is very much the Scorpio-Taurus energy. We still have some of it moving on, but it's less, it reduces. And then from the 16th, Venus into Sag, 17th, Mercury into Sag, 21st, Sun into Sag. We're coming alight. Yeah. Peter, great. There are no problems, only solutions. Love that. To Woods. Oh dear, I think my I think a comet just interrupted the Halley's comet just went by. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back? Tell me if we're back. Oh, Elizabeth, that's a great comment. My answers are usually in the one place I least want to look. It's a lot of wisdom in that. And that can often be the case. Yeah. So, Sagittarius rules religion. Bring that word up, and that brings a lot of stuff up for many of us. And yet, if you look at all religions, the aim of most religions, correct me if I'm wrong, I think, is the permanent removal of pain and suffering and the realization of God. Would you agree that that is the actual goal or aim of religion? Because we're coming into this whole energy of Sagittarius, which is about having faith and believing that we can create the kind of world that we want to live in. Because if you work with a doctor who has faith that he can help you and get you right, he can give you sugar pills and you can be healed if you believe him and you working together. That's not to say that drugs don't work and that things don't have their place. But the power of the placebo, the power of that belief, the power. So religion actually should bind us together. It comes from the Latin word to bind. And actually, religion at its highest level, certainly not the dogmas, I would agree with you, Hedvig, but the highest level is that we are all wanting to be free of suffering, and we want everybody to be free of suffering. Our animals are everybody, and we want to find joy and permanent bliss, not just moments of fleeting happiness, a nice meal, a new outfit, a new lover, a new car, a new house. They're momentary. We're looking for something much bigger than that. And this is the energy of religion. And this is what Sagittarius is encouraging us. Hope Carlson says here, religious faith, astrology, psychology, tools to live our best lives. We should never put our entirety into anything. Life is all about balance. Certainly balance. Yes, certainly. Yes. The balance between being in the earth, but not of the earth. What did Jesus say? Could somebody correct me there? Being in the world, but not of the world. Yes. And there we are, Windy Moon. All nations and all people want peace and love, but we don't know how to go about it, largely. So this is about opening ourselves up to telling ourselves new stories that we can believe, because we love stories. Sagittarius is the storyteller. Yeah, it's this wonderful storyteller. And so I love the myths, the Greek myths. And so I was looking up, today, because I wanted to talk that Sagittarius, the galactic center, is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Of course it's in Sagittarius. And the word galaxy, galaxia from the Greek, coming from the word ralla, which means milk. And then the Milky Way coming from this. And so where did the Milky Way come from? And there's a glorious myth that Zeus places his son Heracles, who was born to a mortal woman, and he places his son on Hera to breastfeed so that he would become immortal. So he does this while Hera is sleeping. So Heracles starts breastfeeding, and Hera wakes up and she sees that this is an unknown child. And so she pushes the child away. Hera wakes up and sees the child, and some of her milk spills across the heavens. And this is what was thought to be the creamy Milky Way of the stars of the Milky Way. What a great story. So what are the stories? What are the new stories that we can begin to create that are our ideal vision for the world, that create joy? Sorry, it's over there. It looks like it's on the wrong side here. That create fun, that make us want to love life. What are those things? So what are they? Yeah. What are they for you? For me, what I feel is that inside each one of us, we have the seeds of unlimited potential. And we look around at everybody else and see what others are doing, because we're very influenced by one another. Very. And we live our lives according to those limits. And yet it takes a few who are going beyond those limits now and looking at our cosmic origins, the cosmos, the galaxies, the infinitude of space. Divine feminine, beautiful. We are the universe within. But do we realize how unlimited we are? Do we realize how many abilities we have? Yes, Kelly B. Follow your heart where your soul leads you. Thank you, Nancy. Jesus said, be in the world, but not of the world. Yeah, thank you. And if we look at all the prophets, all the great leaders, the saints, many of them had power over nature. Moses with the splitting of the sea, Jesus with the the bread and the fish. And Muhammad, I believe, the Prophet Muhammad split the moon, and he also created water coming out of his hands. Yeah, so man, in that higher state of consciousness, has power over nature. So we have so much. And are we living in the smallness? Okay, and I'm reminded of a story, I think Sri Radhanath was telling about the crane bird. And the crane bird is in fact known in the Bible for grace, devotion, immortality. And the crane bird apparently sits very patiently watching the little fish go by. It just watches all the little fish. Then all of a sudden, a big fish comes along and whoosh, he goes and he gets the big fish. So I guess the symbolism represents, let the little fish go by. Let the things that are not going to be worth your bothering about even 3 months from now, let them pass. And go after the big fish, the big things. Because Sagittarius rules the liver, the biggest organ in the body. It's big. It reminds you of your size. Yes. To not be limited. And then in the middle of the month, just sorry to fill it in there, we've got this glorious water energy, creative energy, with Scorpio trining to the Jupiter retrograde in Pisces, which is very creative. Tunes you in with your soul, tunes you in with your heart, tunes you in with the rest of humanity, and wanting the highest possible good for everybody. And if you want to feel good and you want to enhance your endorphins and your immune system, then wish every person that you see, that you come into contact with, wish them well. And you will raise your frequency, you will raise your consciousness, you'll raise your oxytocin levels in your blood. I'm talking like I know medicine, which I don't, so forgive me. If somebody knows better medical stuff, please put that in the chat. But you raise the good things. And remember again, Sagittarius rules laughter, joking, fun. And my Auntie Jenny, once again, bless her heart, 100 and going on 101. The doctor said to her recently, and how are you, Jenny? Is there anything bothering you? And she said to him, I thought to myself, well, I could tell him 100 things. She said, no, I'm all right, thank you. Nothing I can't handle, thank you, doctor. He said, you know, you're looking very good, Jenny. You're only looking about 80. And she said, very good, she said, because if you'd have said 70, I'd have told you you're lying if you go any younger. So she's always got something funny to say. You know, something... I think I was saying something like God is everywhere, and she said it's a good job. So coming back with something that is funny. Yay, Auntie Jenny. She told her 72-year-old son, David, off for not coming very nicely dressed recently. And lately she said he comes now and he's overdressed. He's wearing smart shoes and a nice jacket and a shirt. So, you know, it's quite blunt. There's a bluntness with Sagittarius. My dear friend Nina, who had my Sag friend who had forgotten my birthday, just turned up with a present and a card, very bluntly saying, I'm so sorry, I did forget your birthday and I've just remembered. So if you've forgotten something and you've just remembered, do the Saggy thing and just be honest about it. So I am sending you all much love. Do your hard work, self-discipline. It will pay off in those areas where you're being tempted to do things that you know are not good for you. And remember that you are unlimited. And the more you risk and go outside your comfort zone and do things you wouldn't normally do, like take off a jumper and share a new t-shirt on a live video. Do something, you will inspire others, and each one will catch the flame of your candle. Much love to you. Kalomina, happy November. Radhika, thank you for your devotion in the chat. And to all of you, beautiful soul family, much love to you all. Megales agalitzes, big hugs, as they say in Greek.